All right. What do you call a witch on a beach?
What?
A sandwich. So dumb. All right. All right. So we're going to start off. Today we got Blake Walsh. He's 2025 Collegiate Roy ISC Champion, 2025 IFB World Championship, 2026 NAIA National Champs, 13th at the 2026 Masters, just finished up last week.
Yep.
He's part of junior, or he was part of Junior Team Australia, and now part of Team Australia. So let's welcome Blake Walsh.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Quite the intro.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. So how'd you first get into bowling?
Yeah, I've been quite fortunate. So, my whole family, which you've got the pleasure to meet at the Masters, they were there. My whole family has bowled. So, my parents, um, my grandparents, and my uncle have all played for Australia. And so, back home in our hometown of Ballina, we actually own the bowling alley back home. So, when Dad was kind of working, I would just kind of go to the bowl with him. And so that's kind of how I got into bowling.
Nice. Well, I know your dad is, or I heard your dad is the coach of Team Australia, right?
He is the current head coach of Australia. So
What's
yeah,
pretty
and my uncle, so my dad's brother, he's the current actual head coach of the of our like inclusion squad. So it's we're pretty heavily involved in bowling. We all love it. So I've been very fortunate to grow up in a family that's kind of just immersed in the sport, I guess.
Yeah, not a bad brain to have as a dad, I guess. If he's good
That's
enough
it's
to be a
great.
coach.
Dad's been my coach since day one. So I think the first time I ever really bowled a tournament without Dad behind me was probably like college, my first college tournament. Like he's always been there. Mum and Dad would come, especially Dad, to every single event I bowled when I was back home as a kid. And even now, like they're at the Masters, like they came out and surprised me. So like they love it. I love it. I'm very fortunate.
How awesome is that that your parents and your sister, was it both sisters? Both of the girls that were they both sisters?
One was my sister, one was my girlfriend.
Okay, because I only met, is it Brianna? Brianna is who I met.
Brianna was recording with you. She was filming
Yeah.
for Brad and Carl, so that's my sister. And then Lily, that was also there, is my girlfriend. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Yeah. That's pretty awesome.
yeah.
So
It was awesome.
early on, when did you realize that you were good at bowling?
So, I thinking back, I'm pretty sure the first proper tournament I bowled was at our like nationals, I guess. So, a really big tournament in Australia, and I was only like 5 or 6 at the time, and they had what was called the bumper challenge, and it was only just for little kids that wanted to go bowl. And I think I won a bronze medal. I think came third, or maybe a silver. Like nothing special. It was more of like a fun event, but at that time I was the only kid that was bowling in that event that used two hands and kind of spun the ball, and I had a lot of fun. And a lot of people actually like came up to my parents and were like, "Does he enjoy it? He looks like he has a lot of fun." And then from that, I just kept bowling. And then I'd probably say the first time I was probably around 12 or 13 when I probably started getting like really good. Um, when I was 12, I actually shot 800 in league, funnily
Awesome.
enough, against my dad. So I currently am the youngest in Australia to shoot 800. And at that time, like, so I hadn't shot 300 yet. I still hadn't shot 300. So I remember the last game, I think I shot 279. And I think I had nine spare in the ninth frame or something like that. And I was pissed because I didn't get the 300. But then we finished up, and Dad's like, "Do you know what you just did?" And I'm like, "No," because I was like 12 years old. Like I was kicking my bag because I didn't shoot 300. Dad's like, "You just shot 800. Like that's really
That's
hard to
better.
do." So it
Yeah.
ended up being I was the youngest in Australia to do it at the time, and then yeah, kind of started bowling some more tournaments, and I started winning, and I just fell in love with the game, and I kept trying, kept practicing, and here I am today.
So you said you were 5 throwing it two-handed.
Hmm.
Had you, I know you know Belmo now.
Hmm.
Had you known Belmo or known of his style by that point? Like, did he have an influence on you being Australian and two-handed?
So, funnily enough, Belmo is actually quite good family friends with my parents. And talking back to my uncle Jason, so when my parents and Jason were younger, like probably mid 20s, maybe even a little bit younger, a little bit older around that time, they used to actually travel and bowl together. So they grew up bowling together. They used to fly out to Vegas all the time and bowl the tats and bowl the high rollers and stuff like that. So kind of, that's obviously long before I was born. So they have been friends for years and years. So when I was that young, I mean, I didn't really know Belmont. I didn't really, I was just bowling because I loved it. And then kind of as I got older, that's when I started to learn more about the actual sport side of things and learn about Belmo. And yeah, he became an idol from day one and someone that I wanted to be like. And yeah, I mean, it was cool that we were family friends, but as kind of Australia's huge, right? So we're from the same state, but he's still like 10 hours away. So we never really, it wasn't like I just go see him on weekends and practice. Like it was more of like a FaceTime call catch up kind of thing. And yeah, it kind of grew from there. He kind of became someone that I looked up to, and I wanted to do what he did and how he does the professional tour and just kind of be like him.
Give it time. I
Yeah,
have a feeling
hoping.
the next person that takes over the PBA tour might be from Australia again.
I'm hoping. It'll be
I
awesome.
mean, watching you bowl and watching what you've accomplished at such a young age already, you're on the right path, dude.
Yeah, it's been really good so far. So.
So, what about, let's see, what about your first tournament win? Do you recall how old you were when you won your first tournament?
Yeah, I think there's a tournament back home called Queensland Junior Cup. And so, how our tournament system kind of works back home is we have what's called ranked events. So, ranked events would be like the equivalent of like kind of like your professional tour in the country. That's kind of what everyone kind of strives for to go bowl. And obviously, like they're nationwide. So, QJC is what we would call it, is our biggest probably junior event in the country, under 18. And so we would draw hundreds of bowlers who would travel and bowl that event. And I first bowled that when I want to say around 12. My first time I bowled it, I I think I missed the cut from memory. And I was pissed. I remember being angry. And I was 12. And I'm bowling against 18-year-olds. And I was pissed. Like I was upset. And then I bowled it again the next year. I was 13 and I ran second, I'm pretty sure. I don't think I won until I want to say 15 or 16. But from the time when I came second, so I was 13, I never finished outside of the top three for the next consecutive years. So,
That's cool.
like, I think yeah, my because it's only up to under 18. So the last year when I was 18, I won when I was 16 and 17. And going into my last year as a junior, if I had won that year, I would have beaten the all-time record for most wins in that event because it's tied at two. And I think I ran second. So, but
Oh,
I think that was yeah, probably in terms of like major, win like a big tournament, I would say yeah, probably QJC. I think I was like 15 or 16. think I was 16 at the time. I had one like smaller tournaments on other weekends, but in terms of like a ranked event, that's probably around that time. Yeah.
Yeah, but even to finish top five from the time you're 13 until the time you're 18,
Yeah.
still,
Yeah.
yeah,
Top three from the time I was
top
13
three.
to when I was 18. Yeah.
That's pretty strong.
Yeah, I kind of like it kind of got to a point which I kind of look back now and like I laugh at, but um I would go to the event and be bowling in the event, and kids around me would like be saying we're playing for second. Like I always just took it as a joke because I kind of get along with everyone. Like I have a lot of friends in the bowling community back home, and we'd always have a laugh and whatnot. And I never took it seriously, but yeah, they'd always just be like, "Oh, we're just playing for second because Blake's here." So I always find that funny.
Isn't it funny to hear?
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's just quite funny.
I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio, and I live in Louisville, Kentucky now. And I went up to a tournament. I want to say it was about 2 years ago now, and I walked in and somebody goes, "Oh my gosh, there's Rob Lang. He's gonna win it." And sure enough, I did win it, so it made me feel even cooler. You feel special inside when you hear stuff like that.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not
it
even
does.
that good. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
okay. I can hold my own, but it was kind of cool just to hear somebody say that.
yeah,
What's been your
yeah. It
most
is.
memorable moment on the lanes?
I mean,
Or even at a bowling alley, something cool you've seen?
it's. I'm very fortunate that I'm only 20, but I've had so many already. Like there's so many. I would have to say most memorable. I probably would have two right now that are most memorable. I would say the bronze medal last year for Team Australia, um, at the IBF World Championships in Hong Kong in the trios event, and that was on my birthday.
It's a pretty good birthday
We got to
present.
bowl in this. We got to bowl in this huge kind of. So we qualified all week, and then we kind of had our like match play, I guess you would call it, and we qualified for the uh, step ladder final, and that was actually in a stadium. So they installed two lanes in a almost like a hockey arena where like kind of it shapes around the two lanes, and we bowled our final in an arena with a packed out crowd. Um,
That's super
that
cool.
was that was unreal. That was honestly probably the most nervous I've been throwing a bowling ball down the lane in a long time. Good nerves, of course. I was just excited to be out there, and so we had a bronze medal on my birthday, um, which I believe was like a first medal in a few years for Australia. So that was pretty cool. And then I would say ISCs last year in college, doing that as a rookie, as a freshman. And I'm pretty sure too. I'm not quite sure on this stat, but someone told me that not many international bowlers have won ISCs. So I don't know if that's true or not, but that experience in itself was unreal. That was really fun too. So got a few. It's been really
So
good so far.
since you're a sophomore in college, are you allowed to have your pro card, or do you just get to bowl these events as
No,
PTQ as an
so
amateur?
I obviously being like close with Sam, Cooley, and Jace, talk to them when I can. But honestly, like it's been awesome being able to bowl these events. But yeah, we're not allowed to have a pro card because as soon as you have a pro card, you're deemed as like a professional, and that means that you can't bowl college stuff because college stuff you
Oh,
are like amateurs. So
so when,
so we
when you get,
can USBC stuff, so like the US Open, and that obviously it's allowed. And then for events like the World Series, I think there's like exemptions for college bowlers. So we can get away with doing that, but we can't actually hold a PBA card because
are
then
you
as
going to
soon as
bowl
we
the
do
World
that,
Series?
I I'd like to. I'm trying to work it out at the moment with how there's some international exemption and stuff like that. So if I can get a hold of that, that'd be awesome. If not, I'll probably try and bowl the PTQ and try and make the main field out of that. So I would like to, but it's right like in time with our final exam. So
I
I'm
was going
gonna
to
have
say,
to
how's
try
your
and
teachers going to feel about that? Because it's
I'm
about 3 weeks.
I'm gonna have to try and like sweet talk my professors and see if I can take them early or maybe online, and so I can head up to Minnesota and bowl. But very fortunate that professors here are really good with that type of stuff. So we'll see how we go.
So as good as you are, and if you make the run at one of the events or multiple events, and you get match play, What's your mindset going to be when you face up to Jason or Sam? Like knowing both of them and being their buddies and mentoring you, how are you going to feel when you have to try to beat their brains in on the lane?
It's gonna be tough because I had so much respect for the both of them with what they've done and just who they are as people, like off the lanes too. So I think I'm not one to like, and this has been my whole career so far. Like I'm not one to ever like be chirpy or kind of like you know have that demeanor where like when I'm in a match play, I try and do certain things to put people off. I just try and just be me and try and win by just throwing the best shots that I can. So I think if I ever had to, at some point, I'm sure I might. But if that happens and I have to play them in match play, I'm just gonna try and throw 12 or however many good shots it is that I can and hope the pins fall my way. But I feel like almost in a sense, I probably find it more relaxing, if not, because I kind of know them, right?
I agree.
Like
I understand
there's
that completely.
there's a lot of respect there for the both of them, and we've been on the lanes together already so many times back home, and also just other events too across the world. So just hope the pins fall my way on that day, and I'll see how we go.
Yeah, that's that. I get that completely. So I live in Louisville, and that's where Kyle Tripp and Matt Ogle live as well.
Okay.
And so we bowl so much together, on the
Hmm.
little stuff here locally, and even
Yeah.
Wednesday night league. Um, so if you could get lucky enough to get paired with somebody, or even like imagine being on the same cross all week with Jason, it definitely brings your mind to like
Yeah.
comfortability. Yeah,
Yeah. For
I
sure.
hate that.
For sure. It'll be fun. It'll be fun.
Let's see. What do you think the most important skill is for a pro bowler or a high competitive college bowler at that?
I think college bowling, especially, I would say just being able to forget things, right? Like it's so easy to get caught up in a bad shot or, you know, a stone nine or something that just doesn't go your way. And I think the best in the world are so good at just moving on, like going to the next thing. So, like when it's kind of bittersweet for me when I bowl the Masters, right? Like I'm out here competing, but I'm also watching the people that I've grown up watching my whole life and admire, right? So it was kind of a really fun experience for me because I got to see what they're like. Because it's my first time ever actually kind of seeing them in person. So, and I would just say across the board, like the pros that are good week to week, they're so good at just like moving on to the next shot or just forgetting about it. Like as soon as you go up there and that stone nine in the first frame and you're in the fifth frame, it's still bothering you. Like it's gonna put you off. Whether it be like you grab it a little bit more, you know what I mean? Like just the small things. Like I notice it too. We talk about it a lot in our program, and with my teammates here at school, we're all so close. Like we're all best friends. Like we're hanging out 24/7, so we all know each other so well. And I think, especially just when things get tough in college, because they do sometimes. Sometimes the things don't go away. Like we have gotten really good at just resetting and moving forward and kind of forgetting about what went bad. And I think that helps us so much week to week within the season and allows us to move forward and be better.
So what do you do to stay consistent under that pressure when one shot doesn't go your way, or you need three in the tenth, or you're on a Baker's game and it's your frame and you know you need that strike? What do you do to stay consistent?
I I just for me it's like I want to do my best at controlling what I can control and leaving what I can't to fate. So like if I'm getting up in a Baker game and this shot's really important and we need a strike, like I'm just thinking about watching my ball or rolling over my target. Like that's all I'm thinking about. Because I know if I can do that, then that's going to give me the best chance at getting the strike for the team. If I'm up there and I'm holding the ball and I'm like, oh, come on, like I really need this one, like come on. That's when I feel like personally, that's when I get a little bit grabby or I get a little bit quick and the shot goes bad. So I just think especially when in those moments that are strike or die almost, I almost try and like do the opposite and like slow everything down and just try and make one good shot. So like looking back at when we became national champions like 2 weeks ago before the Masters, we actually the team we played against in the final was actually the same team that knocked us out of ITCs last year. So some of the guys were like, "Oh, come on, like we need this. Like, let's get our get back at these boys. Like they ended our season last year, and also it's so easy because like at the same time I'm like, yeah, like come on, like, let's do it. Like these guys knocked us out, but we did a really good job of just like slowing everything down, going through our process, like making one good shot at a time, and we because it's I forget what it's called, but it's like a mega match, right? So the first one is a traditional game. So we actually lost a traditional game. So we were down 1-0. And then we went to a total pinfall out of 5 games. And we were actually down on pinfall going into the 4th game. So we were about to like lose. We bowled a huge game in the 5th, which got us the win, which got us to the best of 7. And then we lost the first match in the best of 7. And then we won the 4 games straight and took home the national championship. And whilst we're doing that,
were these all
what's
Baker
that?
games?
Yeah, so the first one was traditional game, so it was like 5 bowlers bowling, and
Mm-hmm.
then after that it was all Baker. But in the Baker, because you only really get 2 shots a game, right?
Yeah.
So we were like, all we have to do is put 2 shots online per person, and it's going to give us the best chance. And we did that, and we got to walk away victorious. So I'll just say like, slowing everything down, sticking to your process and just trying to execute a good shot. And that's kind of how I handle the high pressure situations and stuff like that.
When you're in a Baker's game, say you're fifth frame and 10th frame, and
Okay.
you watch everyone's ball reaction through the first 5 frames because you guys have practiced prior to the game, but
Yep.
then you watch basically possibly 10 shots go down the lane before you're in your fifth frame, or 8 shots. Do you switch balls based on your teammates' reaction, or do you stick with what you think was the best in practice?
It's kind of situational. Like, I would say most of the time, like, I am. Like, say if I'm bowling in the 5th frame and, like, say the first 4 shots, like, if all the guys have put good shots online, but it's like, hooking early or it's gone high, or then maybe I might. But obviously everyone's human, right? So sometimes, bowler 1 throws a bad shot. Bowler 2 gets a little grabby. So not only are we watching the ball motion, but we're also watching just the shot itself. Sometimes you throw a bad shot and it's hard to adjust off that. So we actually, in the NAIA stuff, where we just won, we one of the games we had, I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe it was in the best of 7. So it was like right towards the end in kind of like the clutch moments. We had bowled a match on the right lane, shot like 240, whatever. It was a really good game. Gone to the left lane, but whilst we're on the left lane, like the other team, they started the game really well, but then the ball reaction went away, like really quickly. And so we still won a game on the left, but we were kind of watching at the same time, going like, what's going on? When we went back to the right lane, our number 1 bowler changed ball based on what we had saw, and it struck. It looked really good. So then all of us changed ball, and we shot another good game and won that game. So sometimes it pays. It's like really good to pay attention, but at the same time we have to be cautious because, like, we don't know if it's like a bad shot or whatever. So
Yeah, you don't know all the bowlers,
yeah,
so yeah.
college bowling, especially when the pros do it too, right? Like they're always paying attention, and I think that is something. It's a small detail that actually is almost really important. Like I think that's kind of what separates professionals from really good amateur bowlers. It's just that like they're always trying to learn. They're always watching the small things. So I think it can be beneficial to do that. To be honest,
Oh, yeah.
especially in college, because lanes can when we're bowling, like we have ITCs coming up soon, and ITCs is all it's best of sevens. So and they don't re-oil for every set. So sometimes, like if you win a match, move on in the bracket, like you're bowling on burn. So lanes can get tricky, very tricky. Like college bowlers, you have the best 16 teams in the country, which usually means like a lot of rev rate
Yeah,
power, right?
especially nowadays, a lot of two hands.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So like lanes can get really tricky. So yeah, just like watching ball motion, I think is super important because it can give you an advantage if you're really paying attention. So hopefully we go to ITCs and we don't really have to watch much ball motion and I've watched the strike a lot and that makes it a lot easier. So
Watch
that'll
yourself.
be
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, that'd be sick. But yeah, I just think it just kind of yes and no, I would say. Depends on the situation.
So this is a two-part question, but
Uh-huh.
with the Masters last week, basically we practiced all day Monday or all afternoon Monday, bowl Tuesday, bowl Wednesday, bowl Thursday. Then you make match play Friday. You make it. Then you make it through match play to Saturday, didn't you?
Yeah, I bowled
Yeah, you
Saturday.
bowled
Yeah.
Saturday too.
Hmm.
So you bowled for what 6 days straight. How did you stay mentally? Is that well? First, the first question would be: is that the longest tournament of consecutive days that you've had to do with qualifying and then match play in your career? Is that the longest, the most days in a row that you've had to bowl being a PBA type event?
I would say most days, yeah, probably, but I would also say, um, what's the word I'm looking for? Like games number wise, probably not, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah,
understand that
yeah,
completely.
yeah.
So, with that being the most consecutive days on like a single style tournament,
Hmm.
how did you keep, being young, how did you keep your mind strong to step back in there every day and be? Did you have a trick or did you do anything special? Did you eat ice cream every night? That's what Gene Perez told me the night after I averaged 162 at the Masters. Gene Perez said, "Go get some ice cream. It'll reset your day."
Yeah,
But if
that's
you have
that's not
any,
a bad
how to
theory.
keep yourself sharp for 6 days straight to attack that?
Yeah, I mean, honestly speaking, it was difficult because, as I mentioned before, like my family was here, right? So all I kind of wanted to do when I wasn't bowling was hang out with them and kind of stay up and, because I don't get to see them at all while I'm over here. So we kind of had to balance. I had to kind of almost set a plan of how I wanted my days to look, and they were really go sick because like being bowlers themselves, they understand that sleep is like can be so important, right? Just to kind of mentally, you need your downtime to kind of reset, and so every time I stepped inside a bowling alley, like my game plan kind of shifted to like I'm here to focus. Like the moment I'm done bowling, like you know what I mean? Like, fine, everything's fine. Like let's have a joke. Let's do this. And I was still joking while I was bowling, but like they understood. They're like, I have 5 games and then I'm done for the day, right? It's kind of like a job in a sense. Like I'm here to do
Yeah,
something. So I would say the first day, the first squad, I was a burn squad, and the burn squad's always hard. I feel from watching in previous years, like because it's so different pair to pair based on how they've been. So that was kind of fun. And then I was just trying to I never really got mentally fatigued because it was only 5 games a day, right? So it wasn't like it was a lot of bowling to me, especially with college. Like we do Saturdays in college are 5 games, but it's 5 man bake, five man teams. So like
hmm
5 games takes you 6 hours sometimes, right? Like
yeah,
long days. Like some days in college we start like 8 a.m. and we don't get done till like 5. Sometimes like
yeah,
it's long. So I was lucky that actually having the college experience kind of helped me with that because I never really got mentally fatigued. But I always also approached it like every time I came in on a new day, like it's almost like a restart. Like even though I might have had plus 100 or plus whatever it was the day before, like this is a new day. So I always kind of went in attacking the lanes like it was my first time bowling. And so going in, then I had the burn, and then I had a fresh, and then I was actually, as the pros call it, the squeeze squad on the third day of qualifying. So I was the very last squad to bowl, qualifying. And so having the day before, I bowled on fresh, so I had kind of an idea of what I wanted to do going into the second fresh. And Dad kind of being my coach, and obviously speaking with the Storm reps out there too, that I'm on staff with Storm. Very, very fortunate for that. Kind of had a game plan and executed really well, and I ended up shooting 200 over on my last block, which got me to like plus 402, which put me in I think like 20th to qualify.
Yeah,
So
I think 20th. Yeah,
yeah, nuts. So
that's
that was
crazy.
awesome. And then, but yeah, every time I bowled, funnily enough, it played different. Like it was always different somehow. Even though you're bowling on the same lanes and the same oil pattern, it always played a little bit different. So kind of had to stay mentally sharp to be able to make the adjustments on the fly. Like qualified all week, 15 games, and then got to match play, and I threw balls that I hadn't thrown all week.
Yeah,
Like
match play seemed a lot different. Did you throw plastic most of the week, or did you throw the
no, I
contact?
threw a concept on the fresh, and then I still threw that same concept on the fresh match play games, and then but I was a lot quicker to jump like further left with a different reactive ball than I was throwing all week, and that kind of looked good for me. But yeah, every single like match I played, it always played a little bit different. So kind of just yeah, as you mentioned, staying mentally sharp and staying focused and just trying to be the best that I could in that any given moment. So
Yeah, I couldn't ever get, I couldn't ever get a line, man. I
yeah,
tried everything, and everybody throwing all that plastic. I
mm,
have three plastic balls or I have a Black Widow, which has the
hmm
big core in it, and I have a Spy, and I have an Axe. I left them all here in Kentucky.
oh
Because I
really?
thought, who would have ever thought they were going to put out a bucket of oil at 22 feet and call it a speed bump in the Masters? They
Yeah,
already had outlawed urethane. I didn't think that they would ever need to do that.
yeah. I was honestly surprised too at the Masters. Like when I saw the pattern shape, I thought, yeah, people would throw it, but I didn't think it would look as good as what it did, and it looked really good.
Yeah, I thought we were all going to be able to step way left of it, throw it at the 6, 7, 5, 6, 7
Hmm
mark, and whack them. And I would do that one time, it would strike. I'd do it the next time. I'd two pin. I'd do it the next
Yeah,
time with a little extra hand, and it would go through the nose.
yeah,
I didn't have a
yeah,
double game one until game five, or day one
yeah,
until game
yeah,
five, and I was so
yeah. It was,
like just nine spares and splits.
yeah, it was honestly surprising to me too, and like just how much it was thrown. And mind you, like some guys made it look really, really good, but I was fortunate that I guess I didn't need to. Like in a
Yeah,
sense, I could have I made a concept look really good, and then I had a good look with other reactive balls. But I would say that if I had bowled my first fresh squad in, my concept didn't look good, then I might have tried plastic, but I didn't need to. I felt.
well, that plastic looked just like urethane. Like
Hmm,
Darren throwing that mix, he had two mixes that he carried with him all week, and the
okay.
mixes just looked like the red ball going, just hooking in the first 10 feet, gliding, and then getting that extra little pop at the end. It was
Yeah,
so
well,
cool. Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy. That's the other thing
So
too, is that like talking about that, like people just don't understand how good the pros are. Like, like I was reading kind of a post. I don't remember who posted it on Facebook, and everyone was talking about how they throw plastic or whatever, but like how good they made the plastic ball look. Like it's not easy to do. Like throwing plastic
yeah,
is not an easy. It's not an easy thing to do, especially on sport shots. Like, and they made it look really good. And I think people just almost need to be there to understand it. Like these pros are exceptional. Like they're
yeah,
so good.
they're averaging 230s and two thirties and up with a $80 spare
Yeah,
ball. Like
yeah,
you
it's
know,
insane, insane. And then this
that-
week in Ohio, they averaged like 250 on a
yeah,
PGA pad.
yeah.
Crazy.
Francois Lavoie set the all-time 12 game scoring record. I think he
Yeah.
shot 12 games in all of them in any which way, shape, or form added up to 800. So
Yeah,
basically, he bowled, what is that, 4 800s in a 12
yeah,
game block?
yeah.
That's
It's insane.
insane.
It's
Yeah.
insane. Like that's so good.
So have you, I know you're still young, so your mind is still sharp, but have you ever
Mhm.
dealt with any burnouts or just had a section in your career that scores just haven't came? Like you're used to bowling 240s and you just, for a couple weeks, you just 190 or whatever. You just can't get over that
Yeah,
block.
yeah, definitely. Like, um, I think it happens to everyone. Like, no one can escape it. I think, especially when you bowl so much, right? Like, it's bound to happen. Like, as I've mentioned before, like, I've been so fortunate with how much my family loves bowling and how much they're involved in bowling. And, like, there were times where, like, you throw the ball good, like, you love the shots, and, like, pins just don't cooperate, and it's frustrating. And I remember, I think the worst one, I guess, if you want to call it a worst, like I bowled a string of events back home a couple of years ago, and like I didn't do terrible, but like to my standard, I was upset with how I bowled, and it was just because of the pins just weren't falling, like, and I needed to take a break, like took time off, had to step away from bowling alley for a bit. And if anything, it just made me want it more because like I had the time off and I realized like okay, like you can do this. And I came back with a fresh mindset and the pins fell over again. Funnily enough, like it sometimes it's just something so small, not even physical. Like, and that's I think relating back to what we spoke about before with the mental side of things and how good the pros are, and it's just letting go, right? Like sometimes you need to just let things go. Like actually speaking about frying out and burning out. So, the Masters, right?
Mhm.
My week ended with a 9 pin against Matt Sanders on a really good shot. I was happy with it. You know, walk away from the tournament happy. I finished 13th, did awesome. I felt really good during the week. It was just an unfortunate end to my week, a 9 pin on a really good shot. Any bowler would know that's just unlucky, right? We drive back to school on Sunday, 7 hour drive, so long day, up at 5 a.m. on Monday morning to go to practice, right? That particular morning of practice, coach is like, all right, getting ready for ITCs. Let's do some match play stuff. Let's do some head to head stuff. Like, yeah, that sounds fun. So we're all having a good time. And my first match, I can set up in a ninth frame against one of my teammates, 10th frame, to win 9 pin again, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I'm like, at this point, it's like, it's 6 a.m. in the morning. I've just 9 pinned again. And I'm like, screw this. Like,
Bring
I
back
can't
many
beat it.
nightmares. Like,
I can't beat a 9 pin. What's going on here? So, and then everyone's like, as I said before, like I get along so well with my team and my coaches. So we're all kind of having a laugh at it. But yeah, sometimes you just can't help it, but just get a little bit frustrated. But I think that's okay. That's just our sport. It's so not only physically demanding, but I would say it's probably one of the most mentally demanding sports out there that people don't realize.
so what do you think? Do you think it's what percentage of mental versus physical do you think bowling is at this level?
Professional level,
Yeah,
out here, I say out here like I'm out there every week. Um,
you will be. Give it
I,
time.
I would say in the professionals, like they all are so good, right?
Yeah,
So I would honestly argue that it's more mental out there on the PBA than it is physical.
I would agree with that. I'd say at the top level, it's 80-20 or 90-10,
Yeah,
just
yeah, because
because the physical is going to be there.
yeah,
If you can repeat a
all
shot,
those all those pros out there know that on any given day they can shoot the house down and they can strike a bunch. But I think what separates the best, as I've mentioned already, is just the mental side of things. Like the guys that can beat the mental battle week to week, I think are generally going to do better than the guys that can't, even though they probably can throw the ball physically as well as each other can.
yeah, every one of them can repeat a shot.
Hmm.
and there's been guys finish dead last and then come back and win a tournament.
Like I um one of my good friends on the tour actually that I got to room with at the US Open, AJ Johnson, like professionally, like as good as any other bowler out there physically, but I would actually say like mentally, in terms of like staying in it and accepting the losses when they come, I would say he's, I don't want to use the term like one of the best out there, but he's really good at it. And I think that shows season to season. Like he's always up near the top. You know what I mean? Like he's always bowling good. He's always up the top. He's always fighting week to week. And I think talking about mental stuff, I think that's why. Like he's just so mentally strong that he doesn't let it phase him. And he just continues to fight.
I like AJ a lot. People
Yeah,
see
he's a
him
good
on
dude.
TV. People see him on TV and they see that fiery attitude, but
Hmm.
off the lanes, he's just one of the boys. I like AJ. He's a
Oh,
cool dude.
he's a big teddy bear off the lanes, man.
I like him.
He's a big teddy bear. He's a good dude.
What's the funniest thing that you've ever experienced during the tournament? You ever got any
Oh
comedy?
wow, wow. I would one that I can remember right now. I would say was our ITCs last year. Our girls team at Mount Mercy made the TV show. So last year we had two program firsts, with myself making the TV show and then winning. So that was program first. It was also our first time a team from Mount Mercy had made a TV show. So we were all super excited to go watch our girls compete and try and win a Helmer Cup. And so kind of how the TV show works is kind of before the game starts, you get 10 minutes on the pair to kind of break it down, try and make it nice for the TV. So right as they're about to start, I would say about a minute left. At a professional event, mind you, right? So we are talking college, like really extreme, high up level here. Um, a deadwood came out, and a tech, someone working at the bowling alley, went to go and get it, but like walked on the lane, like walked down the lane to get it on TV set. So they had to re-oil the lanes
And then
and then
repractice
redo the
and
practice
start over?
session for 10 minutes.
Oh my
So this
goodness.
poor dude, like, probably nervous, he's having to fetch deadwood on a TV pair, right? They haven't started yet. But when he like went to cross the lane to get the pin, he just walked down the lane
That's
like it was
crazy.
nothing. And so obviously like their girls are all like, "What's going on here?" And then we're in the crowd and we're just absolutely like
Booing and
laughing.
roaring.
Yeah, laughing. The crowd was so funny. Like not rude at all, not rude at all, but they're just laughing because it's so funny because we never really see that, right?
Yeah.
And it was kind of a good tension breaker for the girls' team because they were nervous. They were very nervous, and they saw everyone kind of laughing and that. So I think kind of helped them a little bit. Unfortunately, they ended up falling just short, but it was just so funny. It kind of broke the ice and it got everyone ready for the competition, which I thought was kind of funny.
Gave him an extra 10 minutes of practice too. That's kind
It
of
did,
cool.
it did. They got
Yeah.
it, got extra loose, got a couple extra shots in, got them ready to go.
So if you don't become a professional bowler, what are you going to do?
It's a tough question. Like all my life, I've known I've wanted to become a professional bowler. I've never really like sat down and thought about what would happen if I didn't. But I would say, like, if something say happened tomorrow and it went away, obviously I'll move back home full time. Like I've moved back to Australia. Um, Part of me kind of wants to pursue something in like landscaping. I think would be fun. Like, so my uncle, my whole life, he's been a builder. He built houses, and I've gone and helped him out on job sites from time to time, and I enjoyed that. But I feel like landscaping can kind of like building like the dream backyards and like the decks and the pool area. I don't know. It kind of excites me. I don't know what about it. I don't know why. I don't know what about it does, but like the idea of being able to build someone's like dream backyard. I don't know. It just seems cool. I
Yeah.
don't know why. I've just got this thing in my head. Like I don't know. We used to watch this show. I don't remember what it was called. My dad and I. It's on like Discovery Channel, and it was about this company. I think it was called like maybe I could be wrong. I think it was called like Lucas Lagoons or something. I think that kind of rings my bell. And they used to build like these phenomenal
Was it an
backyards.
Australian show? I'm gonna write it
No,
down.
I don't. Maybe I think maybe you could look it up. Um, but yeah, there's something like that. I think will be kind of fun, mind you. Like knowing me, I'd probably do it for like a month and get bored of it and want to do something different. But
Go run the
um,
bowling alley. Go
yeah,
run the
I mean
family
that's the
business.
other thing too is that I probably would just help dad a lot. Like when I'm home now, so summer break, 3 months we get like I pretty much get home and like just step in at the bowl and kind of help dad out. Like I'll work Monday to Friday helping him out at the bowling alley with everything that he needs help with. So I'd probably just
Do you guys have
take.
a pro shop too and drill and?
We do. It's a smaller pro shop because Ballina, my hometown where we're from, it's like not that big. Like I would say the Shire population, so that is like the equivalent of kind of like a county, I guess, like a small area.
Hmm.
Probably like under 20,000 people.
Okay.
So like it's not tiny, but it's not like a city. So like our pro shop doesn't really cater for lots and lots of people. It still runs, but it's not nothing crazy. So I'll just probably help dad out wherever I could. He's a very hardworking man. So
With being so far away from the ball manufacturers like Brunswick, Motive, and Storm, well, that's another question. Are there other ball manufacturers in Australia that we don't have here in the USA? Do you have other bowling ball
we
manufacturers?
no, it's all the same stuff, but we get a lot of like different bowling balls. So you know how you guys see like on Facebook like your overseas releases that aren't
Hmm.
domestic? We sometimes see them quite frequently. So I'm very fortunate that so I signed on with Storm for the first time in 2025. It's when my contract started, and I've loved every minute of it. But growing up, I've always thrown Storm products. So Storm, we have like a Storm distributor in Australia, and his name is Brandon Kolashevsky, and he's an awesome guy. It's basically he just runs Storm in Australia through Storm in America, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
And he's always helped me out with whatever I may have needed. And sometimes he gets in all these fancy looking different, like a special, like an overseas Zen or something different. And sometimes I might get my hands on one and they're still the same thing, just made a little different, maybe different cover stock, maybe different color. So not, I wouldn't
Sometimes,
say, what's that?
sometimes the color makes a difference. You
Yeah.
know?
So like, for example, I don't know if you're paying super attention, but my spare ball that I was throwing all week, it's like a white, blue, and pink ice, right? Exact same thing as a regular ice. It's just an overseas release.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, so just stuff like that. So no, no different ball manufacturers do it. They just make some overseas releases that don't come to America sometimes that we get.
So are people as wild about new releases in Australia as they are here? Like
Yeah,
here, they just drill, 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 drill.
yeah. I mean, sometimes because we are so far away, so we get stuff a little bit delayed
Mm.
than what you guys might see. So, um, Brando, the Storm guy, he's working on ways now where he can kind of get stuff kind of earlier so he can have stock when they announce it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, they're sending them in a
Because,
little bit early.
yeah, because now, especially when I was kind of like growing up, one ball that I can remember top of my head, so the Duo, I don't know if you remember that ball, Rotogrip Duo, came
Yeah.
out a couple of years ago. Um, this is just an example, like it
The
came out
duo,
in
the duo
America.
got banned. The duo got banned here in the USA, and that's why they released the clone. Like, right, the duo USB-C banned the duo and said it was too soft, I believe. And then the
Oh,
clone
really?
was supposed to be the equivalent of the duo.
Yeah, okay. Well, anyway, so like that ball came out, but like it didn't come out in Australia for a couple of months just because of how delayed things can get. That's just an
Hmm.
example that I can think of. We just get balls late sometimes. So we're always like super, super excited, but we have to wait a couple of months to kind of get our hands on it. So if we could find out a way to, I guess, like teleport bowling balls to Australia, so we get them quickly. That
Yeah.
would fix all the problems, I think. But
Do you have a
yeah.
favorite ball of all time, or one that you just is your
Oh,
go-to to strike?
I've had a few that I've loved over the years. That if anyone's watching this, and has some new inbox ones, you should hit me up. So I've always loved the Storm Infinite Physics. Been a big fan of that. Um, the 900 Global Reality, the original one.
Mm-hmm.
I
The
love that
red was
ball.
that red? The red one?
It was like blue
Oh,
and
okay.
pink, and a really old ball that I had as a kid, which I loved, was the original Wrecker, the blue and white one, as well as a High Road Nano, which I was throwing at the Masters during last week or the other week. I love that ball. So yeah, just a couple of old balls that I've always loved, and I mean the balls now that are in the line are super good too. So
What's
just some
your
old
go-to
goodies that
hype
I've always loved.
music pre-match?
Hype music. I actually, I would say I kind of like older music. So like I like Linkin Park and like Metallica and Nirvana and stuff like that.
You're hurting me with that. Because I'm old and that's music that I like still.
Yeah,
That
like it's
doesn't
not
mean,
old music, but like when I talk to people my age, I have to kind of call it older music because
yeah, of
they,
course.
and like, I enjoy music that's current too, but like if I'm trying to get like hype, I guess, for a tournament, like I I grew up like my family's really close, right? So like my dad's almost like a brother in a sense to me, like we're super close. So all his music that he grew up listening to, like all the hours we would spend driving in cars to tournaments, obviously I listen to the same stuff too. So it's kind of like stuck in my brain and I just can't escape it. So like yeah, kind of like those types of bands. Like I love the little bit older stuff. I just kind of because it kind of reminds me of home in a sense. That makes sense. It's what I grew up
Yeah.
listening to. So at the Masters, actually like in the car on the drive to the way to the bowling alley. My roommate Andrew, that's who was driving me, like hates it. Like he loves like the current stuff because he's just like, oh, this older stuff, like get this stuff off. And I'm like, no, I'm bowling match player. Like I'm getting the music in the car. Like I don't care what you have to say. So I was playing heaps of those songs on the way to the
There
Masters
isn't a
in
lot
the
of
car.
new rock. Like it's basically from the 2000s and back. Like
Yeah,
when you said
yeah,
old stuff, I was thinking
yeah.
you were going to say like AC/DC Back in Black or
Yeah,
something.
see, I enjoy them too. They're an Australian band, but like, yeah, I would say like 90s and 2000s music. I would really say stuff that I kind of like listening to, like a bit of Justin Timberlake sometimes. Nice casual music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So before we wrap this up, I got a couple more questions for you.
All right.
How do you see the future of professional bowling evolving?
This is a question which I think can go multiple ways, depending on who you ask. I think, wow, what do I really think? I think there's so much can happen. Like, you think about, I think something will happen that will change the game. Something is bound to. Like the way Belmo came in, two-handed release, right? That changed the game.
Hmm.
Everyone now is two-handed, almost in a credit to him. I don't know whether something will come out that will be like equipment related that will change the game, or manufacturing related, like new
Like a new
pins. Like,
technology or new type
yeah,
of ball instead of
I'm thinking
reactive?
it's got to be technology in a sense because I feel like throwing, like getting to the line, almost can't really go too much more. Like,
Mhm.
although I'm sure they said that about the one-handed stuff, and then that will change, right? So,
Yeah.
like, who really knows at this point? But I would say there's a lot of debate at the moment about the urethane bowling ball. So I think that could go away. That could be more strictness on the manufacturing of the urethane bowling ball. I guess time will tell on that.
How much more
But
strict can they get though? You know?
that's what I mean. Like, I don't really know. I don't really know. I almost could see, and this might sound crazy, I almost could see them putting even tighter restrictions on the strength of bowling balls to try and stop like the amount that of the way the lane. I feel like if anyone's going to make something, it's going to be to preserve lane condition.
Well,
Because
they
I feel
just
like
keep dumping more oil out, and then ball manufacturers make stronger balls, and then they
exactly
dump more oil.
right.
Yeah,
So I almost feel like bowling could go back to less oil.
go back to less oil and let people throw it straight with plastic.
Yeah, I don't. I really don't know. It's a hard question to answer. Like it could
Yeah,
be so many different things. There's so many different ways they can do it. I could one thing that might sound crazy, which I could see happening, is I could see them because plastic balls only become good with surface, right?
yeah, of
So
course, yeah.
so I feel like maybe if bowling wants to get really technical, they could make restrictions on surface.
That would be a pain, but yeah. Because then
Yeah. So
people will be
like
sneaking it. Now that people know that you can do that and it changes front to back reaction,
hmm
people could do it at their house before they come. And
yeah, like if there was to be something come out tomorrow or even in the future, like
Mhm.
right, that really changes the game next, I could see it being like they almost the amount of surface you can put on your bowling ball gets restricted. So then that takes out the plastic like bowling balls and the urethane like bowling balls. Because like if you can only hit a plastic ball with say like I don't know, let's say for example 2000 is the limit, right? That kind of wipes them out.
Yeah,
Because a plastic ball at 2000 is probably not going to do anything.
yeah.
I don't know. I think it's a
That,
huge debate.
Yeah, I
I
don't
think,
think I got. So I don't know if you get the email from the USBC, but they emailed at the end of the Masters and explained like that what had transpired at the Masters. I don't think that's what they had planned when they put out that pattern.
yeah, I
They
would say
wanted to
so.
play. They wanted it to get sculpted around 6 or 7, like we both
hmm
probably hoped for, and
hmm
move left and play off that bank. But so I was sitting with the tour reps, and I asked them like how. I asked Mike Wolf, how can you practice for a pattern like this with such a bucket of oil 22 feet at home? And he said, you can't. And the way I was explained is basically, I don't know if you can see my hands,
hmm
but when you're throwing urethane, we'll say this is the 5 board and this is the 10 board. Basically, all the urethanes go up the lane between 5 and 10. And right before the pins, they come together and they enter the pins at about the same angle. So they're
hmm
wide, and then your oil comes together and goes to the pins. When you're throwing plastic, everybody was jamming up 5, and right before they get to the pins, it basically does this and spreads apart from 2 to 6. We had just a mop of oil, and if you couldn't figure out how to get it hooking before you got it off the end of the pattern, that's where my reaction came from with the 2 pins and the 2 8
Yeah,
pins, and
yeah, for sure.
it was weird. I don't
But
think
I
they
think,
anticipated the plastic.
and that's what I think the plastic just comes from the fact that the pros are just looking for a safe ball motion,
Yeah,
right? Like they love the urethane because it hooks immediately and is controllable. It goes forward. It doesn't do the big snap hook. So like when the patterns are fresh, they can control the fresh and then they can get left. And the plastic just gives them the same reaction.
yeah. I
And
mean,
that's
I love it. Just
yeah,
wish I had mine up there instead of here in my
yeah, for
garage.
sure, for sure. That would have helped a lot more. And
Yeah,
that's the other thing too is that like the pros, like you you can't practice what you bowl on because the only way you can practice what the pros bowl on is being with the pros. Like let's take I'm already seeing Facebook posts about this week, right? Guys posting them bowling on the dragon pattern and averaging like 2-0, which is still good, right? On a PA
yeah,
pattern, for sure.
yeah,
But like these guys are averaging 250. And the only way you can practice doing what they're doing is literally being with them whilst they're doing what they're doing.
yeah.
Like
You don't
it's
have the other 3 guys with 500 rev rate helping you break that down in the
yeah,
fashion
exactly.
that you
Like
need.
and that's where I think for me being so young and having so much time left is I feel like the only way for me to get better out there is to be out there. If that makes sense.
Yeah, Of course.
Like I just have to learn closely. Like I'm talking from the reps, the way that they attack the lanes, break down the lanes, play the lanes, is so different to what you might do at like your local tournament on the weekend.
Yeah.
So like the only way that I'm getting used to doing that or going to get used to do that is I just have to be out there and do it. Like you can't make the same moves you might do on a weekend because the lanes break down so differently. And they're so good at breaking the lanes down that they almost make these moves knowing that they're going to work.
2 frames before you need to do it because they see
Oh,
a, they see a trip four or something. They go ahead and get out of there before they, you might
yeah.
trip a four 3 times in a row. Next thing you know, you're 4-9 or four
Yeah.
ten. So
hmm
yeah, I see
They're
that.
so good. They're so
A
good.
lot of a lot of people that watch that stuff too, or I've talked to people since I've been back, and that the way that people look at bowling balls on a house shot or even local smaller tournaments is different than what they do in like the pros do. Like a lot of people, when you throw down and in on a house shot, you throw ASIMs because they slide far and they hook. Generally, on the higher level or higher oil quantity, you throw your symmetricals up, down,
hmm
and in, which is kind of weird.
hmm
You wouldn't
hmm
think you would throw a symmetrical down and in because that's generally just going to hook the whole time.
Yeah.
But the
It's just so
thought
different.
process that you have to get out of your head is just how you approach it, the lines you take, what balls you throw. Everything is backwards. And a house shot, if you're hooking through the nose, you move left because you want to get in more oil. On a sports shot, if you're hooking through the nose, sometimes you move more right because you need to get away from it more. It's
Yeah, it's so different. It's
definitely
so different.
backwards. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And
what
that's
kind
why
of
like
goals do you have? What kind of goals do you have for bowling after you get out of college, or maybe even while you're still in your World Series?
yeah, I just think first of all I'd like to try and find my feet a little bit out there. And I think having the result that I did at the Masters helps because it kind of shows to me that, you know, I can I can do it. I can be competitive out there with the pros. So that was really good for me to see. That kind of helped me a lot. Not only just as a bowler, but as a person, I think I learned a lot during that week at the Masters. And I think goals for me, I mean, I'd love to win out there, right? Like getting that title, getting that 10-year exemption would be crazy because that's what honestly, that's what I want to do. I want to finish college and I want to bowl professionally out there on the tour. Kind of, I want to do what Sam and Jace do. I want to go back and forth as the season comes. So I'll probably still live back home, in my off time, and then when the tour's on, I'll just fly out and travel week to week with whomever I choose to room with when that time comes. But yeah, I would say one day winning a title would be awesome. That'd be so
I have
cool.
a feeling that's in your future, man.
Yeah.
You coming over here? Come here, bud. We got a guest who wants to meet you.
Oh, awesome.
Come over here. There you go. You say hi.
Hey, buddy.
That's Blake.
How you doing, mate?
Good.
You good?
Are you nervous or is that sun? We went out on the boat earlier. I think he's got little sun cheeks.
Oh, nice. That'd be awesome. Yeah. Get any
All right.
fish?
So, hey, this brings us. This was going to be my last question too, Blake.
Okay.
Perfect. Oliver. This is my son Oliver.
Nice to meet
Um,
you.
You too.
what advice would you give to a young bowler that one day wants to go pro? And I know you yourself isn't a pro yet, but basically you are, and you're going to be.
Thank
What
you.
advice would you give to the youth?
I would say, most importantly, I would say like don't force anything. Like things can take time, and they probably will take time, but you kind of have to live in the moment first before big things can happen. And I think if you have passion for the sport and you love the sport, which Oliver, do you enjoy bowling?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I would say just enjoy it. Like the things happen. I think you're gonna get the best results if you're having fun at the same time. Like the guys that are putting a lot of pressure on themselves, like it's hard to be successful when you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself. So I'll just say like one of my favorite like sayings ever is "just be you." I love that. I don't know why. I think it's just cool. I would say just be you and have fun and roll a lot of strikes and just enjoy everything that you can. Honestly, sometimes it's as simple as that. I really feel like it's not nothing crazy. Sometimes you just have to let things happen and just enjoy it as the kind of ride the roller coaster, I guess. Just have fun and work hard. I think that's very important, but just be you. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
All right, man. Before we wrap up, do you want to say hi to anybody? Shout out some sponsors. Hi, mom and dad. Anybody like that?
Yeah, I'm sure they'll watch it. So I'll say hello to my family and friends back home, mom and dad, my sister Brianna, my girlfriend Lily, and then I want to thank um, my school first, because this obviously would not be possible without them. They kind of welcomed me in um, my freshman year as kind of a nobody, right? Like I didn't know anyone, no one really knew who I was, and now, you know, we won national championship 2 weeks ago, and we're fighting for a second one soon. So that's been unreal. And then also too, I want to thank my sponsors, just Storm, Kuwik, and Turbo for supporting me and letting me live out my dream and knock over some pins.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I want to thank you for coming.
that's been
I
great.
truly do believe that you will be a PBA champ, and hopefully by then
Appreciate
have
that.
a big podcast. I want exclusive
Yeah,
rights to the champ after you
yeah,
get it. All
yeah,
right.
yeah. I remember Mr. Rob Lang, the OG.
All right. I'm gonna stop the recording. Hold on for a second. Let's make sure it loads up.